So he had done his podium session, 15 minutes almost, and then as is common, he did 10 minutes with the beat people, with the Nashville people. And so we walked over, you guys know the setup here, over to an area on the side, and we were going to do it standing up against a ribbon that cordoned off a certain area, and he wanted to be more casual. He said, let's go up into these bleachers that are over near the bench press area. And then when he was asked this question, by Chris Harris, I believe, one of the newscasters in Nashville, he did say a few words before I got my phone rolling, and that's when he stopped for this pause that people will watch and hear now. So we were surrounding him like I was in the bleacher. He was above me. I was in the bleacher row below him, and other cameras and recorders were around him on all sides.
So here is Robinson, where he is asked what he could do better, and his response comes weeks after that loss to Cincinnati. Here's Titans GM Jon Robinson.
The trust that ownership has put in me, our fans, and I mean, that stadium was rocking now. And you can only imagine what it would have been like the next week. So, pretty long list of stuff that I got to be better at.
There's Robinson there. Chad, you and I were watching that, and we were, wow. I mean, but because of when you consider, he knows he's going to be asked about the way the season ended and how successful they've been, but have not been able to bust down the door of reaching or winning a Super Bowl. And that stuck with him. I mean, this season, you can tell, is still, riding Jon Robinson.
Look, I was surprised when I saw it. It was a surprising moment from Jon Robinson. It's going to endear him to fans even more because of that emotion and because how clear it's very personal for him with that loss in the playoffs and what could have been in a home AFC championship game. Paul, interested to get your take on it. You were there. How shocking of a moment was it being with the local media when this happens? Because watching the video, I was surprised to see it.
Well, I'm not in any way suggesting it's not real. It's 6 weeks removed from the loss, a little over 6 weeks. He's gotten an extension in that time. He tends to get emotional almost any time ownership comes up. So it's an Amy Adams Strunk related thing. And we know this is a big, big deal for a guy who's from the state, Union City, and not too far from Nashville. So if he was picking a team to have gotten his dream job to be GM with, this would have been the team. But I only want to be slightly cynical. Is there a way I can be slightly cynical instead of entirely cynical? I'm not being entirely cynical by any means. Jon Robinson knows that this plays well with the fan base. I think he knows that it plays well. Like nationally, this is getting picked up by a lot of people. This tweet and the other people who tweeted it, it's gotten picked up. I got NFL Network asked for permission to use it. And a lot of people are saying, you want to see a guy who loves ball, or, here's an example of how much this means to people. And it is an example of those things, unquestionably. But I'm just a little cynical about it. Mike Vrabel was asked a similar question, told that about Robinson's reaction, and he said, still stings. I hurt most, having won some as a player myself and knowing what it feels like, I hurt most for the guys because they didn't get to experience it, and I know what they're missing out on. So a different kind of reaction from Vrabel. I have no problem with Robinson's reaction. It was a little surprising that you guys know if you're in a press conference setting with, say, there were probably a dozen of us there, that silence, I don't know, was it 6 seconds, 8 seconds? It feels like longer. 40 seconds.
It was 20 seconds. Yeah. It was a little over.
Was it 20 seconds?
Silence.
Okay, yep. Well, when it's 20 seconds, it feels like 40 seconds or 60 seconds. And nobody's going to interrupt it, right? So you just let it breathe. It is a very, impactful silence. Very impactful silence.
Paul, you're dead on. I mean, this plays best to fans, to Titans fans, not just fans of football, but Titans fans specifically. Yes, then we're seeing a lot of that in the response, and I get it, and I understand. You want the people in charge of winning and losing for your favorite team to care like you care as a fan. You don't ever want to feel like they're not taking it home with them if you're taking it home with you. And this was a very impactful loss to the Titans fan base, and it's carried on since that loss. So they love seeing Jon Robinson carry that with him even now. I guess my surprise is just it was an odd setting with a group of local reporters that he sees a lot in Indianapolis, a month removed from the loss with no real personal implications, players getting injured in the game and out for a long time, or, things that have happened since then to cause the emotion. So I guess the fact that it's still so raw for him a month later is what was a little bit jarring for me. And I have no problem with it at all in the emotion, and I get why fans love it. But that was what was jarring to see for me, is that here we are at the Combine in Indy, and you're in a local media gang up, and you get emotional over talking about what you would change.